Welcome to the Configure Price Quote Podcast. My name is Frank Sohn and I'm the founder of CPQ Consulting. This podcast is 100% focused on Configure Price Quote, also known as CPQ, and will provide you useful insights into this topic. My guest today is Andreas Westling, CEO and co-founder of Ignize, a firm focused on data-driven pricing and commercial excellence. Before launching Ignize in 2020, Andreas spent more than a decade shaping pricing strategy at scale, including leading Navetti as CEO through significant growth and later heading EMEA operations at Vendavo after the acquisition. At Ignize, he is now helping companies apply decision intelligence and advanced pricing methods to improve commercial performance and make pricing a stronger part of their CPQ strategy. He joins us from Stockholm, Sweden. Andreas, welcome to the CPQ Podcast.
Frank, thanks for the introduction. Exciting to be here.
Very excited to have you, Andreas. Before we start talking about Ignite, let's talk a little bit about yourself and what you did before you started Ignize 5 years ago.
Yes. So basically, I have had the opportunity to support global blue chip companies, mainly in the manufacturing industry, to boost sustainable sales and profits through value-based and market-driven pricing strategies. Previously with kind of legacy technology and one-off pricing excellence programs, but today we're excited to be able to support similar clients with more AI-driven guidance without losing control or handing over the keys to their business to an AI. So still very much being in control. So that's a little bit of my background, and happy to dive in any details that you would like to explore further.
One thing I always like to understand when someone starts a company, and it's not the first one for you, right? So why did you do that? Why didn't you stay with, I have an idea, Vendavo at that time was a larger company, provides opportunities. Why did you want to start Ignize?
Yeah. No, I think we can go back a little bit to the Navetti and later Vendavo days. I mean, it was very rewarding to support these type of organizations to mature their pricing discipline. It was very rewarding. And I had the opportunity to kind of see technology shifts from on-premise solutions to cloud and continue to, start to introduce AI and automation. But after Navetti and later Vendavo, and the business was integrated well, I felt that it was time to kind of reflect on what's the new opportunities in the market. And that was when me and Styrbjörn founded Ignize and started to look at how can we solve problems today with new technology that was not possible before. And that led to our kind of decision intelligence framework, where we track internal and external indicators. We build predictive models that business user can act upon to drive stronger results, more efficiency, etc. And as that developed, we took that decision engine back to the domain we know best, which is price optimization and price management. So it was really, how can we solve traditional pricing challenges with new disruptive technology to help these leading companies keep up with the market under never-ending change and higher level of volatility, etc. That was really the driving factor.
And we will talk more about that in a minute, right? So, but before that, I would like to learn a little bit about more you and what's like, for example, a lesson you learned about leadership or building teams that has stayed throughout all these different companies that you worked at.
Yeah. So, I mean, people and technology is really the intersect where I've been acting. And to be able to unlock the performance of the team by equipping them with the right technology. And that could be your internal organization, or it could be the client's sales team, pricing teams, product teams. So actually one way of looking at this that is close to home for me, that gives me a lot of energy, is that during the pandemic, I didn't travel as much as I did before. So that freed up a little bit of time. And I really got that triathlon bug. So, which is still with me. So when I don't spend my time with the business or with my family, I make sure I get my dose of swim, bike, run. And I think there are some interesting commonalities here between how you get a successful business in place and how you drive performance in sports. And if we elaborate a little bit on that, I would say discipline and consistency is so important in both of these areas. So how do you stay on developing against your long-term target? How do you set relevant targets to strive for? How do you measure and evaluate your results? Are we on that track? And of course, taking help of the ones that are best. And that can be to bring in external expertise when it comes to pricing strategies. And it can be to get the right coaching in your sports endeavors. So here there is a lot of interesting similarities, at least to me.
No, that sounds very, very cool indeed. And I think I had a couple of people on who always talked about running, right? So, but I think most then that if they were really into running, they did marathons. But you go a step further, right? So you have the triathlons. I think you even had 100Ks. So that's pretty intense. How did it come to this intense workout? Because that requires time, that requires determination. How did it come to that?
Yeah, I think I get a lot of energy for setting an ambitious goal and then keeping that direction and see how far you can take it. So that was really what gave me a lot of energy during the Navetti years. And then when I didn't travel as much during the COVID period, I really picked up sports. So I did my first Ironman in 2022 and actually qualified to the age group world championships at Kona, Hawaii, which was a great experience. And just in a couple of weeks, I will be heading to Qatar for a T100 race, which I'm really looking forward to.
Now, I think it's super impressive. Anyone who's not really sure what the Ironman means, look it up. So running, swimming, bicycling, long distances. So and to do that at that level. So it's not just sports, right? So that I think you do a step more. Very impressive. But now let's switch gears and let's talk a little bit about what Ignize does, what products and services you offer.
So price optimization and price management, or if you talk about revenue management, that is not a new field. I mean, that's been around for decades, multiple decades. And next year, it will be my 20th year in this domain. So it is, you can read tons of books on the subject, etc. So it's well established. But the way we do things are constantly evolving. The core principles remains the same. So what is customer value? What is the market situation? What is the willingness to pay? All of those things remains the same. But how to get the work done, that is different today. And AI really opens up a new avenue of how this can be done. And I can elaborate more on that as we continue in this conversation. But if I should keep it short, we help clients to get the pricing done, to do the actual work. So operational support, how to optimize their prices. And when we start the collaboration, that might be the driving factor for the reason to act, that they have hard to keep up with the price requests, with market movements, etc. The second reason to act is the financial performance, either that they are in a bad place and need to improve, or that they are very profitable and have a very healthy financial situation, but they don't know how to take it further. They have kind of grown out of their way of doing things. So financial opportunities. And then the third is customer trust. How can we make sure that our pricing makes sense for our customers? It's perceived as fair, it's reflecting their willingness to pay and their perceived value. So these three areas, getting the pricing operationally in place, driving financial improvements, and deliver pricing that resonates with customer and clients.
Excellent. And you focus on specific industries when you offer that, or?
Yes. So business to business manufacturing is our core focus. That's the area where we do absolute majority of our projects.
Perfect. And you have any customer size that you're focusing on specifically?
Mid-market to enterprise. So we can start in the mid-market and we can help up to the largest organizations.
Got it. And since I always have these questions also from listeners, right? So what does it mean, mid-market to enterprise? Enterprise to me is above 1 billion, right? So annual revenue. What's mid-market for you?
So mid-market, many define it in that 500 million range, but we can go a little bit lower. So that means that we can take a division of a business or a set of product lines that you would like to optimize. So if in that early phase, if we're talking about 250 million, that's perfectly feasible. And then you can grow by adding additional divisions or business areas as you see fit, or maybe that's your entire revenue, and that's also fine for us.
Got it. And you focus on specific geographies at this point, since you're based in Europe. Is that where your focus is, or you're?
I would say that we are born global. So our clients tend to have a multinational business. At least they need complexity somewhere in their offering. That could be complexity to serve multiple markets, or it could be a complexity in the assortment, that they have a large assortment, or the velocity of change. So if there is complexity in one of these dimensions, we can add a lot of value. When it comes to where they are headquartered, they tend to be headquartered in Europe or North America.
Excellent. And how many employees does Ignize have at this point, and where are they located?
Yeah, so we're 25 people, mainly in Europe, but I also have representation here in North America. Sean Myers, who's been on this podcast a few times, represents us out of Dallas here in the US. And we're also leveraging the partnership with Tacton to be able to serve our clients in the US.
Excellent, guidance for old-time listeners. So Sean Myers, that was the CEO and founder of Endeavor CPQ, which was acquired by Vendavo, right? So anyway, so you use the term generative precision pricing inside Ignize. Can you explain what that means in simple terms and what the Ignizer actually does?
Yes, absolutely. So we have developed this modern pricing platform that can help our clients optimize and manage their price waterfall. So from reference price setting to local adaptation to deal adaptation. And that also fits very well into our partnership with Tacton, where we can feed relevant price guidance into the CPQ workflow, while our main focus is the price optimization side. So that is what we're doing. And then generative precision pricing is a big part of our differentiator. So in the past, what the systems tend to be, the pricing systems tended to be, were process enablers. So these systems were process enablers that let experts execute their pricing process with some level of guidance, but it required a lot of semi-manual analytics. And that we're taking out. So instead of being a process enabler, we're a collaborator. So our platform acts as a collaborator to the pricing team or the product owners, and eventually it will lead to sales recommendations to the commercial teams. So it's really a collaborator. So it can turn the domain expertise of our users into value-based and market-driven recommendations with ease. So you don't need to be a full-fledged data scientist or expert of that type to be able to get there. You can just let the system do the work for you, and then really collaborate with the platform to take your business decisions. And that is a big change. I would say that looking back 5+ years, it was common that companies did huge pricing programs. brought in, strategic consulting firms to do repricing and optimization. And if you would take that approach today, there's a big risk that the recommendations are outdated before they are implemented. So you need to be able to adapt much quicker. I'm not saying that there is not need for guidance and help, but it's more linked to strategy and process and, how to work rather than taking a decision on price here and now. That the systems can do much better.
Are you evaluating CPQ solutions? The Novo CPQ briefing subscription gives you vendor-neutral briefs you can read in minutes. They are built for the early step of selection, moving from a long list to a focused shortlist of 5 to 10 vendors. Each brief explains capabilities, where it fits, and what to watch out for. No hype. Many subscribers pair the briefs with AI tools like ChatGPT or Gemini to search faster and compare options. If you want clarity before RFPs and demos start, learn more at novocpq.com/cpq-briefing-subscription. Shortlist faster. Let's go back to one thing you mentioned before, that you collaborate with Tacton, right? I was just wondering if you can explain how the two solutions complement each other and what a typical joint customer engagement would look like.
So in the CPQ space, of course, it's about to be able to generate quick and accurate quotes to customers. And that has its own ROI and its own decision criteria. But if you also want to make sure that the quotes are not only faster, they are also precisely priced. They are priced to reflect that customer value. That's where we come in and can add that optimization layer on top of CPQ. So you do the pricing in our solution, the price optimization, you leverage generative precision pricing, and you feed that seamlessly into your CPQ workflows to get the relevant pricing out to your clients' customers.
And then let's also look at the data workflows, right? So since you mentioned that, so what data flows between Ignize and Tacton back and forth?
Yeah. So we do the pricing on kind of the pricing carriers, which could be base variants and optional variants. So the granularity where you take configuration decisions in CPQ. And then we tie those to value drivers and model the pricing in our system. So on these price variants, we will set up and optimize prices. And then if you're selling standard SKUs in addition to these configurable solutions, those would also flow back and forth. So if there is standard accessories or other things that are also quoted through CPQ, but they are not configurable, they are just added to quotes, those can also be managed through our solution.
Got it. But I guess you're not just integrating with Tacton. You're probably integrating with other solutions as well, right? I'm not sure. Other CPQs, potentially ERP, CRMs, commerce platforms, and so on. Which ones come up for your use case most often?
Yeah. So we do integrate with the ERPs to get product data and sales data in. We integrate with the CRMs to get opportunity data, and we integrate with CPQ to support the price execution in the quotations. The systems that we see on the ERP side, SAP, Oracle, Dynamics, Microsoft. If there is anything else, I would say those are the main, but it could also be really old legacy technology that we do interact with. So it's the full suite of solutions. If we look at the CRM side, I would say that Salesforce have a large market share, and also Dynamics quite a lot. And then when it comes to CPQ, we're very excited with the close partnership with Tacton. But if another CPQ is already actively implemented and they need to do pricing, we can feed it through a middleware to those solutions or through direct connections.
Excellent. Perfect. Then Let's look at analytics, right? So I see that many companies want better analytics around pricing, right? So how does Ignize support teams that may not have strong analytical or data science resources internally?
So when it comes to if they lack the data science resources internally, they can leverage a lot of these GPP services to do heavy analytics directly through the interface of the platform. So we have kind of inbuilt analytics for the workflows. It's a very analytical platform. But in addition to this, we can configure specific reports or analytics to further support them. And that can be done directly in our platform, or it can also share data into analytical solutions that they might have in place. But when it comes to the core workflows, it's there out of the box, the analytical support for your to optimize your price waterfall. And one example that can be worth mentioning is kind of how we follow up on price realization and the revenue bridge. What is the impact on revenue through price? What is the impact on volume, currency, and mix? So you get clarity of what is driving what, comparing periods, to give an example.
Excellent. Then let's look at the key business requirements that you see. I have no idea. I would expect right now probably tariffs might be something that customers are asking for. But tell me, what do you see?
Yeah.
What are the most important requirements these days for you in Ignize?
Yeah, so it is to be able to respond quickly to an ever-changing environment. And if we just look at the market as it looks today, we have geopolitical tension, we have trade wars, we have commodity price development that spikes up and down, currency movements, supply chain disruptions. So there is a lot of things going on around these manufacturing organizations that they need to be able to act upon. And obviously, tariffs have been one of those disruptors this year. Let's see what is the main disruptor next year. But to be able to respond to an ever-changing environment and quickly implement price updates and know where to change and in what degree to change, that's where our system can make a big difference. Otherwise, when management is forced to act, it's a risk that they do these blunt general increases. They take the whole portfolio and they apply a flat increase across the board. And when you have the high inflation kind of reason, you could potentially get away with it, but it's far away from price optimization. You need to be much more granular and let the system find these pockets of underpricing and also identify where pricing sensitivity is higher.
But how is the current economic environment influencing your pricing projects right now anyway? Are customers more focused on margin, win rate, competitiveness, or something else?
I mean, it's different in different parts of the market, I would say. So the sentiment varies a little bit depending on which part of the B2B manufacturing space you're in. But if I should speak to the commonalities, what are driving the decisions, I'm coming back to these three things. Is it operational pricing that is the main driver? How do we get prices out quick enough at the right price quality, etc.? So that is one driver. And the other one is we need to improve our financial situation, or we don't feel confident that we can maintain the level of profitability that we currently are at. So it could either be aggressive or defensive reasons to act financially. And then the third is, how do we take care of our customers? How do we make sure that we deliver prices that are reflecting their perceived value, their willingness to pay, and are fair and kind of self-explanatory in many ways. So one of those three areas tends to be the driving force.
Got it. Now I want to talk about the topic I talk to every guest about, of at least for the last 2.5 years, and that's AI, right? So it has
Yeah.
entered the picture. So I think for pricing solutions, it has been there as machine learning for a long time. But I was just wondering, how has that changed the usage of these solutions from your point of view lately? And what do you expect going forward?
Yeah. And here I would also say that if you're an e-commerce player that are selling, commodities almost, very transactional products, then a black box that is suggesting repricing might work well. That is not our main focus. So there a lot of things are happening through AI pricing, and the black box automation can be fine. When it comes to the B2B manufacturing, we still believe that transparency and the possibility for the system to explain the rationale behind the price is important to get buy-in from executives, buy-in from product owners, buy-in from commercial teams, and in the end, where it matters most, buy-in with customers. So leveraging AI to speed up this work and collaborate with product experts and commercial leaders is obviously key. But then it needs to be explainable, and that we're focusing a lot about, and also the collaborative aspect, that you can kind of proceed where the AI left off. You can continue to work with the recommendations that the system give you. They are not taking over, they are there to assist you and collaborate with you. And that I think is a big difference. And then we have, we're not stopping. There are more exciting opportunities to address going forward. And we feel that this GPP services can just continue to grow for additional optimization.
Got it. One question I didn't ask you earlier, I wanted to ask you definitely, is also the implementation. Do you do most of the implementations yourself right now, or you're working through system implementers?
Yeah, so this is a little bit depending on the readiness at the client when we start. So if a customer is kind of having the main building blocks in place, they have a CRM system, they have a CPQ system, the ERP is there, maybe they have a data warehouse in place, and it's basically in order. Then we can go in quite surgically and implement our solution quickly by leveraging the maturity they already have. And then we don't need to involve too many external partners. We can do that independently. And we will act as a long-term partner, and that we always want to see, that we're here for the long term and to help them achieve the results and reach their objectives. But if there is less maturity, maybe a lot of moving parts, they are making change in multiple places in their IT infrastructure, and pricing is one of the components, then it makes more sense to involve other partners that can kind of ramp up a larger team and also work with both CRM initiatives and maybe ERP things, etc. And then we establish a joint implementation team where we take this surgical pricing role, and then we let an implementation partner kind of coordinate this larger program that they are addressing.
Makes perfect sense. But then give me an idea how a typical Ignize project looks like time-wise, right? So and resource-wise, what should potential customers expect here?
Yeah. So if they would like to walk before they run and see some quick wins and kind of feel the value before they scale, we can come in and in an 8 to 12 weeks period deliver the first results for an addressable part of the business that have a material impact. So that's quick. And then they can scale with us and kind of add more integrations and larger scopes. And then the project could be in that 6 to 9 months period, which feels long, in today's modern age, but it is because it's touching so many parts of the business. But once again, if the readiness is there and the system is available, then those quick, 8 to 12 weeks can get them very far. But if the maturity is lower, we need to kind of follow their development as well, and then the timelines can stretch out.
Fair enough. So, but where have customers a chance to potentially see you? Is there any events in 2026 where you're going to be, and where they can meet you and the team?
Yeah, I think the first thing I would recommend is to DM me on LinkedIn, and we could set up a direct discussion and get a sense of where they are at today, what their main priorities are for the future, and how we potentially could support. And then to mention two great events that Tacton hosted in the summit in Stockholm and Chicago, where we had the opportunity to show how our platform complements CPQ. That's behind us, but more of those will come. And I think there was a lot of value shared at those events.
Excellent. And what's a good way for interested listeners to contact you in case they have any follow-up questions for you? Anyway, what's the best?
Yeah, I would say a direct message on LinkedIn, or send me an email, andreas.westling@ignize.com, and I make sure that you get the support you need.
Excellent. I will have all this information as always in the show notes. Andreas, thank you very much for making time for the CPQ podcast today.
Frank, it was a pleasure.
I'd like to thank everyone for listening and hope you learned something interesting today. If you like the podcast, please go ahead and rate it on iTunes or share it with your friends and colleagues. In the meantime, you can find us online at www.novocpq.com. So long, everyone.